When it came to Led Zeppelin, it sounds like Jimi Hendrix followed the policy of, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Also consider that Jimi died before most of Zepp's best work was recorded, and he only saw them live once or twice. The only time Jimi Hendrix appears to have said anything about Led Zeppelin before his death was in an April 1970 interview with the British music journalist Keith Altham that was later published in the May 9, 1970 issue of Melody Maker. In the interview, Hendrix said barely 2 sentences about the group. "I don't think much of Led Zeppelin. I don't think much about them." But in the same interview, he also said, "Jimmy Page is a great guitarist, and when he saw them play live, he apparently approached John Bonham to say, 'You know what? You got a foot like a rabbit,' in reference to his rapid use of the bass drum. Most of the alleged hate comes from comments made by Vanilla Fudge drummer Carmine Appice, who was friends with Jim, and said, "Jimi Hendrix personally told me that he didn't like Zeppelin because they were like excess baggage and that they stole from everybody," which at the time those comments were made in 1968 or 1969, was what everyone was saying. Jeff Beck thought his old friend Jimmy Page had lifted ideas from his band. Vanilla Fudge thought Zepp were stealing their sound and a few of their riffs. Roger Daltrey and Pete Townshend of The Who have been highly critical of Zeppelin. Interesting, since John Entwistle and Keith Moon essentially helped in naming the group. George Harrison was also critical of the band, but his comments about them not doing ballads resulted in the band writing Rain Song. Led Zeppelin were a great band of great musicians who wrote great songs and made great albums, but they also nicked a lot of tunes, lyrics, and ideas from people around them, especially in their early phase. A lot of their contemporaries may have seen them as bandwagon jumpers, a bunch of talented guys headed by an experienced studio musician who latched on to the trends of the day. Music was moving fast, and plenty of other bands who jumped on that bandwagon are virtually forgotten now. Zepp proved they had more quality, and in time, more originality than the rest, but that probably wasn't so evident in the late 60s. So Jimmy probably didn't like the way they copied blues artists and didn't give them proper credit. But all that aside, it's a gross exaggeration to claim Jimmy hated them.